here with Yoga for Everybody, representing Zen Active Sports. I'm back in the studio with my partner today to demonstrate another one of my favorite partner yoga poses, the Child's Pose. As you may remember from a previous video, the Child's Pose is a prone lying pose, which means we are folding forward from a kneeling position. Okay, and I'm going to show you how you can utilize a partner to help accentuate the pose, make it a little more enjoyable, a little more relaxing. So let's join together in a seated position, and I'll show you how to get into and out of this fabulous pose. From a comfortable seated position, we'll of course have to initiate our practice by establishing proper alignment and that deep belly breathing pattern. So again, checking in with the base of the pose, making sure that the glute is flat to the earth, pelvis and hips are neutral, spine is flat, shoulders are down, chest is open, crown of the head lifts up to the sky. And if it helps, you can place one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest, to help you really tune your awareness into the rhythm and the quality of the breath. And when you're ready to start practicing the Child's Pose with your partner, first you'll have to decide who's going to be demonstrating the pose first. So I think I'll start with myself in the Child's Pose first. And I'll have my partner Corey here help to deepen the practice of the pose by just gently resting his hands on my low back. Okay? And you'll notice that I have to widen my knees, wider than hip width apart. Okay, and you may want to do that as well if you have a larger abdominal midsection or if you're pregnant. Okay, you might also want to use a block to help elevate the level of the floor. So, if you do want to try using a block, remember of course that there's different levels, different height levels, so you can do up and down, or flat, or then completely flat. Okay, noticing of course that each level brings you closer to the ground, so maybe you start with it vertical and see how that feels, and then maybe after a couple breaths you move it horizontal and then flat. Okay, or maybe you just stay in the vertical position. We'll start by inhaling, bringing the arms up over the head to elongate the spine. And then we'll exhale, slowly hinge forward. And then you'll move that block so that you can place the center of your forehead on the block. Keeping the hands shoulder width apart. And then whenever the partner is ready, they can place the hand on the low back, not the glute, but the low back on either side of the spine, just for a gentle, you don't even really have to put a lot of weight on there. But what's nice about having the hands there is really just kind of a healing touch, good vibe, kind of a bonus here. So really, it helps you bring awareness to that area of the body, which then allows you to relax those muscles more so that you can further stretch and enjoy the practice of the pose. after 7 to 9 deep breaths here, we can slowly come out of the pose, first by bringing the head up and then walking those hands back in towards the lap, and then kind of swinging the feet out and around and working your way back to a comfortable seated position. Now we're ready to switch partners. So you'll have your partner come into the child's pose, and then I can show you what you can do to add to the enjoyment of the practice of this pose as the assistant. Okay, so most likely your partner will not need to bring the knees wider than hip width apart. Will most likely be able to keep them hip width apart. So that is the safest way to stretch from a kneeling position. And then whenever your partner is ready, you can come into the child's pose nice and slowly, bringing the arms up first and hinging forward on the exhale of the breath. Settling down into the pose nice and slowly. And then, of course, keeping in mind that the hands will stay shoulder width apart. Shoulders will stay down unless, of course, that's not comfortable. Some people prefer to bring their hands back by their feet, so you could try that if that feels better. And then, you could just add the extra pressure or just the presence of your hands on the back, which is where this pose is stretching the most. Or you could try sitting on the low back if your partner is larger than you in size and stature. So what that looks like is basically just lining up into a seated position on that low back. You could even place your hands there for support, keeping the knees bent at a 90-degree angle. Whatever your partner prefers. Okay, because again, even just the presence of the hands on the back can help your partner to remember to relax those muscles and to really delve in deep into relaxation. And then after 7 to 9 deep breaths, we'll come out of the pose nice and slowly, first by bringing the head up and then bringing those hands in towards the lap. And again, slowly making your way back to a comfortable seated position, using the hands to support you, nice and slowly. There's definitely no rush here. So that child's pose is a relaxation pose, so feel free to veg out in that pose for as long as it feels good. Thanks for practicing the child's pose with me and my partner here on Zen Active Sports. Be sure to stay tuned next week for another partner yoga pose at www.zenactivesports.com. Thanks again for practicing with us. Namaste.